Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Bando mohe savadhana mate Bando mohe savadhana mate Jahara prasade bhai Vibhavatori ajay Jahara prasade bhai Vibhavatori ajay Krishna prapti ho jahan hote Krishna prapti hoy jahan hote Guru mukha padma vakya chitte te koriya kya Guru mukha padma vakya chitte te koriya kya Ar na kori ho mane asha Ar na kori ho mane asha श्री गुरु चरण रति ऐसे उत्तम गति। श्री गुरु चरण रति ऐसे उत्तम गति। ये प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आशा। ये प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आशा। जाको दान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से। जाको दान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से। दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो। दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो। प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते। प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते। वेदे गाय जहाँ रचरितो। वेदे गाय जहाँ रचरितो। श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आधमा जनरा बंधु। श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आधमा जनरा बंधु। लोके नाथ लोके रज्जीवाना। लोके नाथ लोके रज्जीवाना। हाँ प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पाद छाया। हाँ प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पाद छाया। हाँ हाँ प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया। हाँ हाँ प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया। एबे जास कुसुक त्रिभुवाना। एबे जास कुसुक त्रिभुवाना। शिला प्रभुपाद पतित पवाना। जयो प्रभुपदा जयो प्रभुपदा। प्रभुपदा जयो प्रभुपदा। प्रभुपाद 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 जयो जयो प्रभुपाद। नमः ओम Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine. What do you say? Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Jayo Nitai, Gaura Sundar Nitai, Gaura Sundar, Gaura Sundar. Jayo Nitai, Gaura Sundar Nitai, Gaura Sundar, Gaura Sundar. Jayo Nitai, Gaura Sundar Nitai, Gaura Sundar, Gaura Sundar. Jayo Radha, Sham Sundar Radha, Sham Sundar Radhe. Jayo Radha, Radhanath, Radha, Radhanath, Radhe. Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada.
Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhajakacharya Ostatera Siddha Sri Sriman His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jagannath Subhadra Balaram Ki Yamuna Mai Ki Ganga Mai Ki Tulsi Devi Ki Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Krishna Balaram Ki Radhashami Sundar Ki Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Temple of the Vedic Planetarium Ki last day of the Gita Marathon Ki all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Haribol.
Namaste Narashingaya Praladadayane Hiranyakashipurvakshaya Selatankana kalaye Ito nishingo barato nishingo Yato yato yamitato nishingo Bahe nishingo irae nishingo Nareshinga madim saranam brabade Tavakara kamaravade nagam Advuta Shingam Dalita Hiranyakasipu Nanabringam Kesavadrita Narahariruba Jai Jagadish Hari Jai Jagadish Hari Jai Jagadish Hari Jaya Nishingadev, Jaya Nishingadev, Nishingadev, Jaya Nishingadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Shri Lord Nishingadev ki jai, Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So thank you for taking off your time to attend the Sunday Love Feast program. For those of you who are new, this is a regular Sunday event, and we humbly beg you to come and join us every Sunday, and you'll quite enjoy the program. The program starts at 11, and it finishes promptly at 1 o'clock, and thereafter we serve a sumptuous prasadam. This morning, we are very, very blessed to have in our midst His Grace Shuddhi Prabhu that you see on the Vyasa Sang this morning. A highly elevated devotee and son of Srila Prabhupada, who is our spiritual master that you see at the back, especially for those people that are new. That's why I'm taking a few minutes of my time to introduce you to the different personalities. If you indulge me a minute, I would like to read Prabhu's biography. So I'm pretty sure you want to know who this devotee is. His Grace Shuddhi Das is from the United States of America. He joined ISKCON on January the 5th, 1970 at the Laguna Beach, California. He was initiated by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada in Mumbai at the Cross Maiden Festival on March 27, 1971. So you can see he has a long-standing record of being in ISKCON. He was the first devotee to arrive in South Africa. In September of 1972, he began the Krishna consciousness movement in South Africa. He stayed here alone for 6 months, hiding from the apartheid government, to establish Krishna consciousness in South Africa. He now lives in Vrindavan, India, and travels the world preaching Krishna consciousness. So like I said, this is a very brief resume of this highly elevated devotee. So let's put our hands together and give us a big Hari Bol to Shri His Grace Shuddhi Prabhu Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Boy, that's a lot to live up to. A brief was enough to get me hired to do the job of speaking, or does someone else want to do it instead? Someone else want to do it instead? One of you want to come give the talk? You're sure? All right. So, Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutali Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namni Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nirvisesha Shunyavati Paschachata Satarane. Srila Prabhupada, I'm in Africa now, and I hope this gives me an opportunity to increase my service to you. That's what I said to Srila Prabhupada the day after he laid the cornerstone for the Mayapur project, and I was on my way to South Africa. This is March 2nd, 1972. Anybody alive then? Raise your hand if you're alive in March of 72. And I said, I'm going to Africa now. I hope this gives me an opportunity to increase my service to you. And Prabhupada put his hands behind his head and said, service to Lord Chaitanya, service to Lord Chaitanya, service to Lord Chaitanya, as if offering my service to Lord Chaitanya. So today I thought we could talk about how to jumpstart or give yourself a leg up or practices and impetuses to keep your Krishna consciousness going strong, or things that we can do to make it extra strong. Does that sound good, or do you want me to talk about cricket again instead? I can talk about cricket. Cricket's a sport. They have a ball, a bat, and a wicket. I don't know what any of those look like, and they have 11 players. Okay, that's all I can say about cricket, because that's all I know. But cricket is also an insect, isn't it? Okay. Do they have anything to do with each other? No, you're sure? All right. There's my cricket lecture. Now we'll go on to how we can jumpstart our Krishna consciousness. I talk about cricket, the insect, but that would probably bug most of you, so we won't do that. We look for in the Bhagavad Gita, if you're going to hide a treasure, where do you usually hide it? In the middle, right? In the middle, in the 10th chapter, in the 10th verse, he didn't put the secret in the 19th chapter. You know why? Why isn't the secret in the 19th chapter? That's a good reason. Okay, so in verse 10:10, Krishna says, Tesham satata yuktanam, bhajatam priti purvakam, dadami buddhi yogam tam, yena mam upayanti te. Anybody know what that means? Yes, what does it mean? No, there's a little part of that is right. He says, to those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they come to me. That's true about the being more tolerant than a tree. But in this verse, he's saying to those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they come to me. Raise your hand if you're constantly worshiping Krishna. No other thought in your mind. Can you show me someone here who is that way? Well, in the back. Who's in the back? And who's on the wall on both sides? Yes. Now they have that. So maybe we can follow some of their instructions, right? Again, to those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they come to me. How long do I talk for? Like 4 minutes or 4 hours and 44 minutes or what? Till when? 12:30. Okay. So we might feel a little difficult in this, like we're not qualified. Who feels like they're totally qualified to execute Krishna consciousness? Don't worry, in the 22nd verse of the 9th chapter, Krishna says, to those who worship me with exclusive devotion, I carry what they lack and I protect what they have. We're always afraid of losing our devotion. We can lose other things, but if we practice, Krishna will preserve what we have and he'll carry what we lack. So what are some of the things that we can do to carry on our Krishna consciousness? There may be some processes. Prahlad Maharaj talks about processes. How many are there? We'll make it multiple choice. Is it 6, 9, 12, or 14? Which one? Not 14? Okay, 9. Anybody know one of the 9 processes? Say it louder. Chanting. Okay, that's one. Anybody know another one? Hearing? What is it? Reading is hearing. But yes, that's one of the ways. That's a subcategory of hearing. Hearing can mean hearing japa. It can mean hearing kirtan. It can mean hearing the scriptures. It can mean hearing talks from devotees. It can mean nonsense gossip. No, it doesn't mean that. That's because it's Shravanam. It creates faith. It's a different kind of hearing. We have to tune in. We keep an open mind to both things. We keep an open mind and we listen attentively to the hearing of Bhagavad Gita, and we keep the open mind to our chanting of japa. And when people are nonsense, we also keep an open mind. But that means we let it in one ear and out the other. So it's a different kind of open mind because it's a different kind of topic. So now we have chanting and hearing. No, that's not one of those 9. What? Remembering. We got 3. What else is there? Service. Now we're up to 4. What else? What? Offering prayers. That's called Vandanam. The ones we've discussed already are Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Vandanam, and Dasyam. Now what are the other 4? What? Surrendering everything. That's the last one, Atmani Vedanam. And what ones are in the middle? Let's start giving hints. Friendship. Okay. What else did we miss? Service. We got service. What else did you miss? Which? Deity worship. I was going to have to say who's in the front of the room. Deity worship. There's one other. Sakyam. What is Sakyam? Making friends with the Lord. So which one of these should we do? All of them, right? Which one do we start with? Because it comes in Sanskrit. Shavanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Parthasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, and Atmani Vedanam. These are the different 9 processes that we do. So we practice these processes, and we do it in our daily life. And we have a program that helps us do that. If you're at a temple, they have the Mangal Artik, and there's a chance to hear, there's a chance to remember the Lord. And what else do we do at Mangal Artik? Well, as I said, we have kirtan, and we have hearing. What else is there? What's that? Shravanam? I'll give you a hint. It's not there until they open the curtain. What is it? What? Darshan of what? Deities, yes. That's right. That's all together. And then later on, we chant on, what are these called? Yes. And Krishna says, of sacrifices, I am what? Listening to the radio? I listen to something that looks like a radio, but if you say radio, it turns into one. But it has a book, and it has all the different ones. Like number 1 is Introduction to the Gita by Prabhupada, like the first 6. And then it has the Gita ones up to about 300, and then it goes to Bhagavatam. So you can listen to that so-called radio. But someone asked, is that a radio? And when they said radio, it started playing the AM station. So I'm careful not to say that, because then you got to push a bunch of buttons and get back to it. Which shows us that if our attention has shifted to something else, we have to go through all kinds of changes to get our attention back. So this is one way to jumpstart it. When we're chanting, is like I tell people, I chant on beads, I drive a car, and I also send emails. But I don't do these at the same time. In fact, I write in my book, 9 o'clock after breakfast, check the emails, check the Facebook, check the banking. Someone said, do you write that down to remember? I said, no, I write it down to forget. Because that way I know that when 9 o'clock comes, I open the book and I attend to those things then. Because what happens if I'm chanting and my mind diverts to something else? What does the brain do? The brain has a thing called the reticular regulator. And if I'm chanting attentively, then the brain says, okay, he's paying attention to this. All these other things can wait. What's in the daily book, your schedule, that can wait. What's having for breakfast can wait. What emails, all that can wait because I'm thinking attentively. Now if I think, oh, I wonder what's on the emails or I wonder what's on the television, then the brain says, okay, now the chanting goes in the background and this is important. That's why if there's a fire, your buildings are built out of concrete here, but you must have some fire alarms. Does the fire alarm have a very soft voice of a woman saying, I smell smoke in the air? Or does it go, wah, 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 wah? Which does it do? Why does it do that? Because it wants you to take your attention away from everything else and place it on this danger. The alarm clock went off, and Prabhupada says, what is that? Someone says, that's the alarm. And Prabhupada says, who is in danger? So when that goes like that, then you know to take the attention away from everything else and place it on that alarm, right? Find out what the danger is, right? Because if the building is on fire, you know, if there's somebody outside having a conversation, and maybe it's someone you want to talk to, or there's a book downstairs you want to look at, you can wait till later. But if the building is on fire, can you wait till later? No. So we should consider the chanting the same way. When it's time to chant japa, what do I do? Japa. When it's time for email, what do I do? Email. And I don't do the email and drive at the same time as the japa? And also read a book? How long can you do that for? Not very long, right? So the idea is to pay attention to these. Now, you brought up some others. Rupa Goswami mentions in Nectar of Devotion. Who has read the Nectar of Devotion? We'll divide you into two groups. Those who have read it and those who plan to read it later. Raise your hand if you've read it. No one else has read it? Okay, now raise your hand if you plan to read it later. That should be everyone else. More hands, more. There's a lot of good stuff in there. It tells you about the process of devotion. It tells you about Krishna's personality. It tells you about his special characteristics, his qualities. He has 50 qualities that we have partially. He has 10 qualities that he has in the form of Vishnu that we don't have. So this is a way to keep our consciousness. To do this in the Shravanam, it helps us to keep attention to the chanting, and it helps us to, there's 4 things about Krishna that are absolute: the Nama, the Guna, the Rupa, and the Leela. And so this Nectar of Devotion helps with that. In the Nectar of Devotion, these 64 processes of devotional service are explained. And Rupa Goswami says there's 5 that stand out as more important in these. And someone know one of those 5? A couple of them are in the 9 processes. Association of devotees, not just association, right? Because everybody associates with something, right? So association devotees is 1. What else? Reading the Bhagavatam or other scriptures, that's 2. What else? What? Worshipping deities? Now we have 3. What are we missing? Which? Living in a holy place. The other one's pretty important. Chanting. Can't miss that one, can you? If you miss everything else, if you get the chanting, you're thinking of the deity, your mind is in the holy place, You're doing what you'd get by association with devotees, and you're realizing the importance of the scriptures. So the scriptures means the Srimad Bhagavatam, means like the nectar of devotion, and these help us to understand about Krishna. Ram Govinda Swami was lecturing this morning, and do you know that he said that we should read the cantos in order? Does that sound strange to you? Or do you read a book from the middle out to the front and then... Some people try to skip the other 9 and go straight to the 10th canto. But you'd think that that should be obvious. Somehow it's not for many people, but the obvious thing is that you read it in the order it came in. Wouldn't you think? If I tell you, how do you read the cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam? Wouldn't the obvious thing be to read them in the order they come in? Doesn't 1 come before 2 and 2 before 3 and 7 comes before 4? Is that correct? No, that was a trick question. 7 does not come before 4. So it has to be mentioned because people think that it's like my daughter's husband. She'd be reading a book, and he said, I read the last page. I know what happens. and she was not happy about that. So it talks about the qualities of Krishna. There's 50 qualities that Krishna has that we have partially, and there's 10 other qualities that God has in the form of Vishnu that we don't have. Maybe some of you have them. Raise your hand if you have these qualities. All cognizant. Nobody? Changeless? Supreme controller. Nobody here is a supreme controller? You're sure? Ever fresh? All mystic potencies? All yogic perfections? Still nobody, right? How about universes come out of your body? No? See, the scientists have the Big Bang theory. We have the Big Breath theory. Krishna breathes out and all the universes come out. So it's not a bang, it's a breath. But it's a similar idea. They come out in seed form and they expand. It's just that this one comes from a person. Which people do you know that didn't come from a person? Which things do you see, like buildings and people, that were self-manifest? Or did they all have to be created by someone? Let's see, there's some other things. He gives salvation to the enemies he kills. Don't try that one. Some lunatics try that. They think that they're killing people to save them from their sins. Even some of them would kill the children, because in the Bible it says that if young children die, they go straight to heaven. So logical conclusion is kill the children, right? No, it's not logical, and it's not necessarily true. Children are born coming with past karmas. Maybe good, maybe bad, maybe mixed. So we don't kill the children. We don't give salvation to people by killing them. An attractor of all liberated souls. But in the form of Krishna, he has some things that we can remember in the process that really endear us to Krishna. There's 4 of those, but you don't want to hear about those, do you? You do? Okay. The first one is called Leela Madhuri. That these are the special pastimes of Krishna's that are so intimate that they forget that he's God and they just love him. And this rolls right into the second one, Prema Madhuri, because they have such wonderful close Leela, and it's based on love rather than awe and reverence. They have the highest kind of love for God, and he has the highest kind of love for them that you couldn't even imagine. I can't say highest thing you could imagine because it's beyond that. And then he has Venu Madhuri. He plays the flute. He has 3 kinds of flutes. The Venu, the Vamsi, and the Murali. A Venu is like 6 inches long. Vamsi is like 15, and Murali's like 18 inches long. Which one would you want Krishna to play? Which one? Any one is fine. But 8 inches, you have a preference. That's good. But we know this is special. And we know that these are Krishna's special pastimes that happen in Vrindavan. Krishna doesn't play the flute in Dwarka and when he goes to Kurukshetra. What happened at Kurukshetra? What happened? There was a battlefield. But before that, there was a solar eclipse, and the residents of Vrindavan went and met the residents of Dwarka there. And Radharani is looking at Krishna arriving on a big chariot. She says to her friend, she says, "My dear friend, I met my old and dear friend Krishna on the field of Kurukshetra. He is the same Krishna, and I am the same Radharani, and it is very wonderful. But I still wish to be by the bank of the Yamuna River, hearing Krishna play the sweet fifth note on his flute within that forest of Vrindavan." So as great as Krishna is perfect in Dwarka and Kurukshetra. He's more perfect in Mathura, and he's most perfect in Vrindavan. Because these four things only exist in Vrindavan. Narayan doesn't play the flute, even though he has the arms concerned to do it. Who did the gopis consider God? Anybody know? Same one that Nanda Maharaj. And what deities does Nanda Maharaj have? Does he have Radha and Krishna? What does he have? Think carefully. If Krishna is God in another form, then they must be at least close to God in some other form, right? So what form would they be worshiping? Somebody know? I gave you that because we'll give it in hints. When Krishna disappeared from the gopis, he turned into this form. And the gopis bowed down to this. Who did they bow down to? Who? Narayan. They worshipped Lakshmi and Narayan. Because are Lakshmi and Narayan the same person as Radha and Krishna? Yes, but the mood is different. So the gopi says, "Oh, my dear Supreme Godhead, Lord Narayan, we worship you." And they bow down, and can you tell us where Krishna is? So sometimes they knew that Krishna is God, and sometimes they didn't. Did anyone ever read or see the Superman story? Someone must have said, but it must have been before your time. It was on TV in the 60s. He came from another planet, and he had superpowers, but he disguised himself as Clark Kent, and the people had very intimate relationship with Clark Kent. And sometimes they knew he was Superman, and sometimes they didn't. So you see that with the residents of Vrindavan. Usually they just relate to him with love, but when things go wrong, Krishna, save us. So we see that by practicing these processes of devotion and understanding Krishna's pastimes, we can jumpstart our devotion. There's also other things. We find that putting things in priority. Do we wake up at midnight and go to the bar and get drunk and then come home and try to work and then do some devotion? Or do we wake up early to do devotion, then go to work and go to bed early and skip the intoxication? Which one is it? Number one or number two? Then why do more people do number one? Because they're in the wrong mode. But Krishna says, everyone follows my path in all respects. But some people are going the wrong way, right? Like out here, there's a highway, right? And to go on this highway, to go to Chatsworth, you go south, right? But if I'm on the road going north, I'm on the road that goes to Chatsworth, but I'm going towards Johannesburg. So yes, that is the road that goes to Chatsworth, but it's away from Chatsworth. So we're either going towards Krishna or we're going away. So we find that certain times of day are good, just like certain places are good, like Vrindavan is good. If we can't go to Vrindavan, where can we go? If we can't go to old Jagannath Puri, where can we go? New Jagannath Puri. And if we can't chant at a temple, what can we make our home into? A temple, yes. And if we're out on the road, can we still say Krishna's name? The one person says, why are you praying? It's not Sunday and you're not in the church, right? Because you only pray to God on Sunday in the church, right? Is that it? Or can you pray to God as God everywhere? He's not in that pillar, is he? Hiranyakashipu didn't think he was in that pillar. That was a mistake, but it was the last one he ever made. So, could there be some other things that help jumpstart us into more spiritual reality? We've talked about the 9 processes of devotion. We've talked about the 5 extra qualities. Is there something else like a special day, like Groundhog Day or something? Groundhog Days, they just keep doing the same thing over and over, right? They wake up and it's Groundhog Day again. That the groundhog comes out, and if he comes out and stays out, it's going to be a good year, but if he goes back in his hole, it's supposed to be a bad year. But there's no evidence that such a thing is true. There's some devotees that don't believe that any of Prabhupada's disciples can represent him. And so some of them made a magazine called Back to Prabhupada, but they make all kinds of bad lies about certain devotees. And in fact, they put Bhakti Swami with big ears. Now, they put him with big ears because there's a theory that people with big ears can't be trusted. Now, number one, Bhakti Swami didn't have big ears. And number two, there is no evidence that supports that people with big ears can't be trusted. It just looks like the elves and the things they create. You know, it's a fantasy. So if I make him look like he has big ears, they came from the right-wing people did that with President Obama. They made him have big ears because if I make him have big ears, he can't be trusted. But such a thing isn't true. Neither one of them have big ears. Both of he can be trusted, and there's no evidence to support that. But they go along with the fallacy. People believe in the different conspiracy theories, and if you can get them to believe in one, then I have a whole group for you to believe in. So is there a special kind of day that devotion comes a little easier? On this day, devotional things seem to work better, and material things don't seem to work out. Like if you're trying to make sales on that day, the people are almost ready, and then they kind of say, yeah, I think I need more time to work this out. This day is tantamount to like if there's big waves in perfect form. That's the day the surfers have to go out, right? Because tomorrow those waves won't be there. So they have to go out on that day. Is there such a day? What is that day? We'll have to see how many hints it comes with. It's a special day. What? Ekadasi. How often does Ekadasi come? What? Twice a month. Is that by a real month or by a Western month? You know how long a month is? Solar days to lunar days, how long is a month? Lunar day is 28 because a lunar day is 25 hours. Moonrise to moonrise is 25 hours. So if you count the days by the moon, you get 28, which means that you have to have 1/24 more. So it means that a solar month is 29.16. In the Western calendar, some have 30, some have 31, some have 28, but they can't be different lengths, can they? It has to be the same, just like days. Unless you one day you move up an hour, another day you move back, which they do in some countries for summer. But a real day, some can't have 22 and some 27, can they? Has to be the same. So this day is Ekadasi. And on that day, the material things just don't quite work out. You're trying to arrange a material party, get together. The guy's trying to date a girl at the last minute. He gets a responsibility or something comes up for her, or the people don't answer the phone. You notice that on Ekadasi, how the material window seems to close and the spiritual window opens up, right? It's like if you're trying to get out of this building and all those windows close and these ones open, which ones do you go out? This one, right? You go in the window. So on Ekadasi, the spiritual window seems to open up. And there's a great chance. And they say, strike when the iron is hot, right? Like if you're trying to sell a product and the person says, I think I'll buy that. Do you keep on selling? Or do you say, let's get the paperwork and finalize this, right? So when it's Ekadasi, do you wait till later? Or do you take special advantage of that day? Wouldn't it be nice if today was Ekadasi? It is. How about that? And we have another Ekadasi that comes up in 14 lunar days later. We check it out. Now, lunar days, if you follow the moon, you can make your own calendar. Okay, the new moon is one day, and you go up 14, and then, because you're going by the moon. And then you can make your own moon calendar. Now with the sun, you use a sundial. You can't make a moon calendar by the sun. It has to be by the moon. And it doesn't fit nicely because the moon cycle has nothing to do with the sun cycle. The Earth rotating is a day. The moon going around the Earth is a month. And the Earth going around the sun is a year. They say Venus is a heavenly planet. Right? They can't see inside the atmosphere. It's not because there's nothing there. It's just like if some rich people here, they have a big wall and a fence, so you can't see inside, right? Does that mean nothing is happening? No, it just means they don't want you to see what's going on. So, if Venus is a heavenly planet, then how, they say that a heavenly planet, one of their days is 6 months or more. How long is a day on Venus? Somebody look it up. Somebody has a phone here, right? I know what it is, but tell me how long a day is on Venus. Nobody knows? Nobody here's been to Venus? I plan to skip it and go straight to Krishnaloka. Check on your phone, tell me how many days of our days is a day on Venus. 240. Is that more than 6 months? So it must be a heavenly planet, right? So on Venus, you could be 16 days old. Oh, no, you could be 15 days old, but you'd be 16 years old because their year is only 225. Imagine that, right? Yeah, you would be, when you're 15 days old, you're 16 years old on Venus. So it must be a heavenly planet because there, a day lasts longer than their year. But we don't want to go to Venus. So on this Ekadasi, there's special benefits for all of them. But this one is called Venus is calling to tell them how long it's gone, right? On the Safala Ekadasi, we're supposed to offer fruits to the Lord, and it said that if somebody fasts on this day and does devotional practice, they get, now listen to the cost to benefit on this one, they get the same benefit as practicing austerities for 5,000 years. So what's 5,000 years times 366? Is that a lot? How many is that? It would be 36,000 times 5. So it'd be like 18,000. Is that what it is? 5 years. Is he adding it up? So like 18,000 about? So that's a lot, 5 years. 5,000 years. Not 5 years, 5,000 years. So that would be 500,000. Maybe it was 500 years. Either way, it's a lot, isn't it? Either way, the benefit is a lot. It's just like if I said, if you give me a rand, I'll give you 100,000 rand or 500,000 rand. It doesn't matter either way. It's a good deal, right? So there's a story that goes along with this Ekadasi. There was a king, Mahishmati, that lived in a city called Champravati, and he had 4 sons, and the oldest of them was named Lumpaka. But Lumpaka had some bad habits. He liked to take intoxication, and he liked to have sex with other people's wives, even prostitutes. And surprise, surprise, he was starting to spend a lot of the king's money, because prostitutes and intoxication don't come cheap, right? Unless they're a beautiful woman, and then it comes cheap for them, right? But so he was doing such debauched things that Mahishmati had to banish him to the forest. And even the tolerant, compassionate people didn't want to speak up because he was so bad. But he was upset. He thought, well, you know what I'm going to do? During the day, I'll kill animals. And during the night, I'll sneak back to the city, and I'll steal things from the inhabitants there. And he was caught a couple times, but people are afraid to turn him into the king. So he was sleeping underneath a banyan tree. And this banyan tree was a very special place for the Lord, because Krishna says that trees, he's the people tree, the banyan tree, right? So because this time of year is winter time, it was very cold. He didn't have proper bedding. So the night before the Ekadasi, he didn't sleep well, and he woke up late, and he was so fatigued he couldn't go to hunt any animals. So he just picked up some gathered fruit, and by the time he got the fruit to offer the tree, the sun was already going down. So he went and offered this fruit, and he said fervently to the Lord, he says, "Oh, woe is me. Please forgive me for my offenses. This is my humble offering." And it's kind of like Lord Rama says, that if somebody says, from this day forward, I am yours, he says, I accept him, and I give him the strength to make his devotion strong. So he also had to stay up all night because it was so cold. And in the morning, this magical horse appeared, and a voice from heaven came and said, this horse is for you to ride back to the kingdom. By following this Sapala Ekadasi, you have rectified all of your sinful activities, and you will go back to the kingdom and take the kingdom over. So he went back, and his father accepted him. When the father retired, he took over the kingdom, and when it was time for Lumpaka to retire, he turned it over to his son, and he went to the forest, and he performed austerities, and he went back to Godhead at the end of his life. So his life was successful by this Ekadasi. The Ekadasi before this was called the Mokshada Ekadasi. And on this Ekadasi, the Bhagavad Gita was spoken. And because the spiritual window had opened up, just like the right time, you know, I found that out on January 5th, 1970, that my friends had, who'd heard from devotees, they said, for real spiritual life, we have to give up illicit sex and intoxication. So I used to go to my meditation rock because I'd read a book called Teachings of Lord Chaitanya that said bhakti means you just ask God for some way to serve him. So I'm there at the beach. I wonder if January 5th, 1970 was an Ekadasi. Could somebody check that? Ekadasi, January 1970. Someone check that on the phone. Will the phone tell you that? Ekadasi, January 1970? Can someone check it? See if it comes up with that date. So anyway, I was praying like this, and all of a sudden I got the inspiration that I need to give up illicit sex and intoxication. And I'm just 17. I'm thinking, well, I should date a few more girls, maybe a couple more beer parties. And then it's like, I got this inspiration. No, if it's important, you do it now. So I said, all right, God, I will give these things up. Now you send me some way to develop love for you. And I wondered how long it would take, a week, a month, a year. I opened my eyes, and as far away as the milk bottle was a devotee walking towards me. And I thought, that was no week, month, or year. And I thought, Hare Krishna, that's what I'm supposed to do? And he walked over, and he said, I said, what are you doing here? He says, well, we were on the next beach over, and all of a sudden I felt this uncontrollable compulsion to come down. Would you like to come and chant with us? I said, I think that's what I'm supposed to do. So it's like Krishna was pushing me because it was aligned. If I said now, I'll give up these things and you send me, he's already got the people arranged there, right? It's like I say, I want to buy a new car, and there just happens to be one in the parking lot, right? You say, well, you better do it now because there's one here now. So Ekadasi's that way. The window's open. Tomorrow Ekadasi's over. So this is the chance. It's just like Katvamunga fought for the demigods. And they said he wanted benediction. He says, how long do I get to live? They said 3 minutes. So he surrendered to Krishna. What if he'd asked for a big, huge palace and to be the ruler of the country for 3 minutes? Not long, right? So this Ekadasi is a special day. The other special thing that we can do, Krishna says in the 68th and 69th verses of the 18th chapter, that for one who teaches this science to my devotees, devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. There is no servant more dear than this servant, and never will there be one more dear. Now that's one of the best cost to benefit things you can get, isn't it? So we think, which of you can go out personally and preach Bhagavad Gita from memory perfectly well? So maybe there's some other things that we can do. We should know enough, like when Vaisheshika teaches people how to do books. First you have to have books. Then you have a strong enough spiritual potency. You leave people with a good impression. And if you can create the value in the book, they'll buy it. It's just like if I want you to give me 50 rand for something right now. But if I tell you it's a 200 rand note, it's no problem because you know that the value exceeds the price. So if you let them know how much good this book can do, maybe you can't preach to them so much, but maybe you can explain something. Or if not, then you put the book in their hand because it's kind of like a time bomb. It's the opposite effect like the mines they have in some of these countries. The children play and the thing blows up. You know, the book can be in someone's house and some family member or friend picks it up and reads it. You know, that's why we do the bigger books rather than more of the magazines, because it's a good explosion. So today is the last day of the Gita Jayanti. So we have a special if you want to purchase books. We have a special price if you want to get, you can either get this Gita or this one. The choice is yours. And we have a special price if you purchase 11 metric tons of these. How many in 11 metric tons? Anybody know? Well, we say about 29,333. Is that about right? It is, because they're about 3/4 of a kilo each. So 1 metric ton would be, a metric ton would be, oh wait, no, it's 3/4 of a kilo. So a metric ton would be, yes, I'm sorry, 1,333, right? Because if they're a kilo, it'd be 1,000. So it'd be 1,333. So it's 1,333. So we're only talking about 14,666. Because 11 is a codicy, so you can get 11 metric tons. Now maybe you can't get 11 metric tons, 14,666, but you can get 11 of the Gitas. What would 11 Gitas cost? Less than 11 metric tons? What would the cost of 11 Gitas be? How much? 990. And then you can give them out to friends. You can sell them if you want to. You can keep them at home. Because this is the last day. The Zakadasi benefit is over. This is the day to do extra rounds. I haven't done as many rounds as I usually do on Ekadasi, but I woke up early. I started chanting about 12:30, but I had other things to do. So, how many rounds do you think I did? More. 70. If I have to overdo something, I might as well overdo japa, right? What if I ate 4.4 times as much as most people eat? Would that be overdoing it? But would that be good or not? Unless it's an ant we're talking about, right? So if I have to overdo something, it might be chanting. So someone can take 11 metric tons, they can take 11 books, and if not, at least take one and keep it for yourself or find one. I remember I always keep a couple Gitas with me, and there was one famous musician was in Laguna Beach. I saw him pull up with a friend in like a fancy sports car, and I just walked up and says, you know what? I found this book very interesting. It's helped me. I wanted you to have one. And he just looks up at me, because usually people are asking about their autograph and swooning over them. But I just said, I want you to have one of these, and gave it to him and just to walk away. And he's looking at me and looking at the book, and then he starts looking at it, right? So this may happen. So what was our topic for today? Besides cricket. That was the short talk, right? Jump-starting our spiritual life? Yes? And what things did we talk about? This is a recap. See if you remember them. 9 processes, okay, what else? 5 qualities? Oh, you're doing well so far. What else did we talk about? Ekadasi. And why did we talk about Ekadasi? And we only get Ekadasi like 7% of the time or something? Is that it? About 7% of the time it's Ekadasi? A little more. 14 into 100 is like 7.28 or something? Is that right? So 7.28% of the time it's Ekadasi. So it's a semi-rare opportunity, but you don't want to wait for the next one. If I said I give away kilos of gold on Ekadasi, would you say, oh, I'll wait for the next one, or would you get it now? Which would you do? Next time. I'm giving away cars on Ekadasi. You want to wait till next time? No. So the special spiritual benefit on Ekadasi, you want to wait for next time or do it now? And then it goes, this helps us because we see that those Lampaka, he was involved in all kinds of bad things. But because he practiced the Ekadasi, it jump-started him into practicing pure devotional service. It's kind of like if you're studying electricity, trying to figure out what it is. And instead you stick a fork in the wall. you'll instantly know what electricity is. So it's kind of like that degree of it. But it doesn't have the negative side effects. But it's that kind of a jolt. What does electricity feel like? If you put a fork in the socket in the wall, you won't ask that question anymore, will you? But here you run on 210? Yeah, you might die doing that. 210 is bad. 110 is bad, but 220 is worse. Especially if you stick a fork in, because now it's metal to electricity. But we can overdo it with Krishna consciousness, and there's no adverse effect. So remember, if we have to overdo something, what do we overdo? Chanting. Okay. Are there any questions or comments? Yes? Devotional service, yes, you can overdo that. It's okay. But also Krishna says a yogi is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation. Sometimes people stay awake chanting, but if to Monday you have to perform the Mangal Artik, and then you have to give the class, and you have some important things at work, it may not be feasible to stay up all night. So we have to balance these things. You know, he says it's temperate. It's usually better to try to have a regulated schedule. But if you have to stay awake later, Ekadasi is the day. Any other question or comment? We have 2.5 minutes left. What direction is that out there? What? West. No wonder the clock is later over here, because east is later than west. But every 25 kilometers that way is a minute earlier, and every 25 kilometers this way is a minute later. What time does the clock say there? It says a few seconds later than this one. But it can't be that much, can it? But it's true, that's time. Then time goes down according to the atom. Not much difference between one atom and another. If it takes 25 kilometers to be a minute later, right? Because that would be how many? There's 1,600 kilometers for the time zone. So divide that by 60, what do you get? 1,600 divided by 60 is it's about 26, right? Yes. So every 26 kilometers is a minute later. So half a kilometer that way would be 1 second earlier, and half a kilometer is 1 second later. Unless you're on the other planets like Venus where it goes slow. They actually had this on the History Channel. On the History Channel, they showed some things that showed that there was advanced technologies in the past and that time moves different on different planets. And to show them, they said that the Inca king used to talk to people in a mirror. And if you talk to people in a mirror, pull out a cell phone. Who has a cell phone? Pull it out. If you don't know what it is, what does it look like to you? It's a mirror, isn't it? If someone had never seen a cell phone and you pull it out, isn't that a mirror? It looks just like a mirror. And they said he would talk to people in the mirror. Well, that's what a cell phone is. Someone who doesn't know, look, there's people inside that mirror and he's talking to them. The other thing they showed that there was advanced vehicles in the past. One of them we showed Dhruva Maharaj going back to Godhead in an airplane. Another one showed the stealth airplane of Salva and how it would disappear like the stealth ones can, and Krishna shot it with an arrow. And the third one was Krishna taking Arjuna through the universal coverings to go to Vishnu Loka. So they're trying to show. And the other one about the time was it showed that the one person went to Brahma Loka to try to find a suitable husband for his wife, and Brahma told him, no, time goes so fast here, all those people are dead. you're going to search for someone new. So they're discovering these things on the History Channel. We should discover it in our own lives. Hare Krishna. Now you know what it's time for?
Hare Krishna devotees. So thank you, Prabhu, for this most enlightening class. As we promised earlier on, Prabhu is really an expert in everything, and you would have seen that he can answer almost any question on spiritual life. And he's so well versed in all the scripture, as you would have taken note of. As a sort of a request, you would have heard Prabhu mention the Bhagavad Gita as a scripture that we should be focusing on during this period because of the Gita Jayanti. And I thought, we were thinking, wouldn't it be an ideal gift if we could, at least in this audience, sponsor 10 Bhagavad Gitas on behalf of Prabhu, since he's brought Krishna consciousness to South Africa. And the Bhagavad Gitas are 90 rands each. We're not asking you to sponsor all 10 yourself. If each of you could just do, or if some of you could just do one Bhagavad Gita at least, we would have at least 10 Bhagavad Gitas on behalf of Shri Prabhu and all that is done.
Not even 1 metric ton, just one.
Yes, just one. And I don't want to go into those calculations again, but yeah, you can see how exciting it would be. And also, it's Krishna's famous day. It's his most important day. It's Ekadasi. Think about the benefit that you would get just by sponsoring a Bhagavad Gita. So all of those things, as Prabhu mentioned, are in your favor. So let's just take maximum advantage and try and use the point or the period that we have today to try to maximize our benefit. So thank you, Prabhu, once again, and we wish that you will join us again very shortly in our classes. Thank you. Hare Krishna. His Grace Shri Prabhu ki, Their Lordship Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Sundar ki jai. Shri Guru Parampara ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prad Hare Krishna. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine. Hare Krishna. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Jagannath Swami Nahana Patagami, Nahana Patagami Bhava to me. Jagannath Swami Nahana Patagami, Nahana Patagami Bhava to me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana. Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana. Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana. Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hare. Joya Sachinandana Gaura Hare. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare. Jai Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hare. Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hare. Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga. Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga. Nitai Goranga, Gaura Hare. Nitai Goranga, Jaya Gaura Hare. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare. Nitai Goranga, Jaya Gaura Hare. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai 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 Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhajakacharya, Austatera Satta Shri Shri Man, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhajakacharya, Austatera Satta Shri Shri Man, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada ki. Ananta Gaudi Vaishnavinda ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. Prem Shikoho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda ki. Jagannath Subhadra Balaram ki. Yamuna Mai ki. Ganga Mai ki. Tulsi Devi ki. Bhakti Devi ki. Krishna Balaram ki. Radhashami Sundar ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Ekadasi ki jai. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga.
Sorry about that. I give it the understanding. Bluetooth will be concentrate. You know, I said this so many times on video that your mind gets.
It's 10:10.
Yes, yes. And how you doing?